Well, sadly, I think that the who could have done it, Kay, is the obvious question. The answer is that the list is fairly long because whilst we tend to think of the Scandinavian countries as liberal havens, that is partly, in view of many analysts, been their undoing in that they have been very forgiving and open to refugees from around the world. And so at the moment, if one looks at the groups that have fallen foul of the Oslo authorities over the last year, these would include the Tamil Tigers, Al-Qaeda. The previous caller mentioned Mullah Krakar from Ansar al-Islam. That is an Al-Qaeda ideologically related group from northern Iraq. And then, of course, there's Libya. The Norwegians have been very active in the air campaign in Libya and indeed have been very active with their NATO partners in Afghanistan. So there are a wide range of motivations there. The Tamil Tigers have been had one of their leaders arrested and prosecuted recently. And so I think that if one looks about what has been targeted here, this bomb appears to have gone off somewhere close to the offices of Hans Stoltenberg, the Prime Minister of Norway, and not far from the oil ministry. Most recently, Mullah Krakar, of course, threatened to kill politicians if he were deported from that country back to his homeland in Iraq. So you've got him, will be one of the chief suspects. But also you've got these groups that are now part of the Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula inspired people who read, indeed, a magazine called Inspire, who's just published its most recent English language guide to how to be an international terrorist. And these are self-starters. So this may be an example of a self-starter type attack in the heart of Norway, but clearly designed to have the maximum possible political impact. This was not an attack on something more vulnerable, such as a railway, a crowded shopping mall. This was an attack at the heart of the Norwegian political body politic. And clearly intended to send a very powerful political message.
Sam, that according to Sky sources in Oslo, the police are investigating a theory that this was a car bomb using fertilizer nitrate. Survivors reporting a strong smell of sulphur after this explosion had happened. Would that give the authorities any clue there as to who might be responsible? Yes,
if you remember, there was a plot foiled in the United Kingdom involving a very serious, I forget the exact figure, but close to a ton of nitrate fertilizer in the United Kingdom a couple of years back now. And the way that it is quite easy for the authorities to trace people who have been purchasing this type of fertilizer because frequently they may not necessarily be the sort of farming types who might be expected to need large quantities of this stuff. It is pretty easy to turn into a very powerful explosive using a number of easily obtained ingredients, among them sugar, in order to create what is pretty close to the firepower of a much more sophisticated modern weapon. And earlier this year, the Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula actually published a bomb maker's handbook. It was more than that. It was more of a bomb maker's encyclopedia. It was over 103 pages long with footnotes explaining in some scientific detail how to build these basic fertilizer bombs and much more kind of sinister equipment such as exploding mobile phones. So the know-how is out there. The materials are out there, but this does give, if this is indeed a fertilizer bomb, it will give the authorities in Norway a clue as to how they might go about tracing who was behind it.